Okay, so here is my index page from when we created the website, and so we're going to be creating a third page rather, and also modifying this so that it's a little bit more organized. So here is my source code. So I've got this open up in the editor. One thing that's happening is that this picture is very nice of this trail runner, but I want the links to be all up at the top so that it's really obvious where that is going to go. So I've got an H1 for my main title. Welcome to my website. I'm going to do an H2 or an H3, either one of those two. I'll do an H3, and this is going to be first quarter. Um, Assignments, something like that. Projects, works, web pages, H3. So that's where it ends. I'm going to put this block, or that line, underneath my H3 tag. In fact, I'm going to put it in twice. When I do that, there's no, I forgot to close angle brackets, so make sure, oops, I'm all messed up. H3, there we go. So there's my open H3 and my close H3. I don't need to do a break in between here and H3 because that's implied on the close H1s and H3s. There's an implied break that happens. There is no implied break over here. So if I save and refresh this, the second sentence is going to be jammed up against the first. So if I refresh it, there's my H3, and these two guys are right up against each other. So this is centered. That makes some sense. For the heading, I might not want the text to be centered. This is you, as long as it's clear. That's another open, so I'm going to make that a close. There's a close. So I'm going to surround my H1 with a center tag. Now everything is aligned left. I have this extra center here, but I might want this picture to be centered. So I'm going to surround just the picture with an open center tag. Now that center is going to be aligned center. These three lines are going to be aligned left. Save and refresh. That looks a little better. You'll notice that the picture is butted up really hard up against that text. So I'm going to add a couple of breaks in here. Angle bracket BR slash, angle bracket BR slash, 2 or 3. You can decide how far down you want it. So if I save that, refresh, and it's down just a little bit. You'll notice that if I put in a whole bunch of enters, that is white space, and your browser is going to ignore that. So there will be no difference when I refresh that, even though I put all this space in there. Nope. It's got to be an actual tag. Your browser ignores all of the times that you tab, all the times that you hit the space bar, all the times that you hit enter. If you wanted it a little further south, just keep adding BR slash. So now it's going to be down one more line, slight gap between that. I definitely am going to want a break after. So many mistakes. There we go. After that line, that's going to now force the second link to be at least one on the next line. All right. So now, there it is. Now both of these are pointing to that my hero page. So I'm going to fix that momentarily, but that looks a little bit better. All right, so and here's the hero page, and that seems to be working. I've got navigation on down towards the bottom that is going back to my index page. So somewhere on there, down at the bottom may not be the greatest of choices, but that is working. Okay, so now if you go to Clifford Charis's code, this is the starter code And there's an awful lot that can go wrong here. So I wanted to simply provide you with all of, excuse me, all of that code. So I'm going to copy this code and get a new text file, and I'm just going to paste that in. I'm using an editor that does recognize what language. This is HTML, so I'm just going to do that. So now my tags have color, and I can kind of see what's going on. I believe that in on your Chromebook, when you save a file as HTML, it will identify that these are tags, and it's smart enough to recognize what's going on there. This is a new file. It's not been saved. I'm going to go to File, Save As, and this one. So here it navigates to my website folder. That's all good. And the name of this file is going to be lowercase JS, capital T tester. All right. So jsTester. It's I can add the extension. You will need to do that on your Chromebook. You're using that text editor. Add the extension. Save it. And now I can open that page up. I think. There's the jsTester page. I can open that up, and here it is. Here is my jsTester, and if I click on this, I do get this little alert. So that's the starter code. We'll talk about that in just a moment. So that page seems to be working well. I'm now going to go back to my index page. The first line is going to hero, but so is the second. So I want to change this. I'd like the most recent web page to be on the top. So that's going to be jsTester, capital T. Make sure it's spelled and capitalized exactly the same. So now it's pointing to jsTester. It says meet my hero. And so I might change this to something else. See my first JavaScript project. You can call it what you will, as long as it's fairly clear. Save that, and one of these. So here it is. And not sure why that's showing up. I don't want it to show up, but there we go. If I refresh this, there we go. There now it says see my first JavaScript project. If I click this link, there it is. That's good. I don't have navigation back, so I'm going to want to do that. So I've got a button here. I have a couple breaks. That's what's pushing that further down my page. So there's a little bit of a gap. So I don't like retyping stuff. I always make mistakes when I do that. So I have to copy paste. And underneath that, I'm going to write click here to return to my home page. Something along that line. You can decide what do you want to be the link, the whole sentence. Click here. Don't be the wise guy that does just the period. I'm going to have return to my home page. That is going to be my link. A space href. You can look on your index page to see how to do that. It's going to go back to my index.html. Close angle bracket. That's where the link starts. Very smart to have a close tag, otherwise everything else will be a link. Even though this is the end of my content, still is a good idea to do that. File save, refresh, and I have a nice navigation, a real simple page, and that's enough for this video. All right, so hopefully that makes sense, and we'll go on and we'll take a look a little bit about how that JavaScript is actually working.